Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Tafatswa, not his real name. I really do not know if there will be people that will be willing to assist me out there, and I don't know what I am going to achieve by sharing my confession. Maybe people are going to assist me, but I feel like this is the only chance that I have. So I got your WhatsApp number in this other group in which I am called Tilda. So after I had gotten your WhatsApp number, I then chose to contact you. And this is my own story. This happened while I was still in South Africa, but as for now, I am suffering. I have almost tried to contact all the people that I see online, those that know traditional healers, but no one has helped me. I was once told that if I can come to Harare, there is one traditional healer who might be willing to assist me only if I agree to come on camera. But each and every time when I try to look for some money so that I can travel from my village going to Harare, there is something bad that always happens. So back to my story. It all started back, it was in the year 2008. Life as we all know it here in our country, life was really hard. I had lost my job and I tried to hustle whilst I was in town in Masvingo. That is where I come from. I tried everything that other people were trying so as to make a living, but it was not working at all. I was just another young man trying to make a future in a place where there was no future at all. So I watched most of my friends living one by one. Some were teachers, some were engineers, going to Botswana, South Africa, heading south across the border, chasing the dream of a better life in South Africa. Then most of them, they would come back with stories of Johannesburg, the land of gold, where money was there for the taking. If you were just strong enough, you would reach out and you would grab it. I did not know what was true and what was just talk, but I knew that I could not stay in Masvingo anymore. Things got so bad, so much that I was actually living in an abandoned taxi at the taxi rank. During the day, what I'll be busy doing is that I will be selling as a street hawker. Then at night, when everyone would have gone out of town, that is when I'll go into that abandoned taxi and I'll sleep in there. It was not only me, we had other 3 guys that we were sharing the same taxi with. But after we spoke for a very long time, that was when we thought that it was far much better for us to travel down south and then try to get a job. But when I finally arrived in Beitbridge, I had all my certificates. Since I am someone who graduated as a science teacher, I thought that maybe I was going to quickly get a job, so I had everything to prove that I went to teachers college, my IDs and everything. But I did not know that when you cross the border illegally, you just do not cross so easily. You have to travel for kilometers, and once you get left behind, no one will wait for you. And we had to run. First of all, we climbed onto the back of this other truck. We were about 60 of us, women, children, pregnant women. Some of them, they were weak. You could see that people were really sick. We walked and we walked and we walked until we arrived at the river, Limpopo River. It was at night, and then we crossed the river. After we had crossed the river, that was when we were told that the soldiers, they were on the other side of this other hill. So we needed to run. As we were running, that was when I lost contact with some of the guys that I was with. And unfortunately, I then started following the other group, which was being led by a man who turned out to be a guma, those people that rob the people that will be crossing into South Africa. After we had traveled for about an hour. We were almost about to reach Musina. That was when we were told to sit down. And then they started beating us up. When they came to me, they opened my bag and they saw that I had my CVs, my certificates, my ID. Then they teared them apart and they took my ID from me. By the time that I finally arrived in Joburg, I was a nobody, nothing to prove that I was a teacher. And when I arrived in Johannesburg, I learned the hard way that those stories of easy money, they were just mere stories. Yes, the city was not a land of opportunity. It was a place that was so fast, and I realized that I was just another illegal immigrant, wandering the streets, always running away from the police, always afraid of getting caught. I would sleep on the floors in overcrowded flats, ate when I could, went hungry when I could not, and every day I thought about going back home, but pride would not let me. I had left with big dreams and I did not want to return back home with my head hanging in shame, with nothing. That was when I met him. This man, he was different from everyone. He told me that he was an agent, so he was working with other people that wanted to give us, that did not have proper documentation, jobs, and this was like a dream come true. Whilst we were staying there at the place where we were staying, he would come each and every morning and he would pick you up. If you wanted a job as a gardener, you will go there. As a maid, you will go there. It all depended on the situation where you wanted to be. So one day he told me that he was looking for someone that was brave enough, someone that was not scared. And I asked him what kind of a job was it going to be. He said that there was one who owned a mortuary in town and he was looking for someone that was specifically from Zim, who did not have any documentation at all, who could be willing to work in the mortuary. So he told me this, and then other people were scared to go and work at the mortuary. But at first, even though I was scared, but I said, this is the opportunity for me to get a permanent job. And I was told that I would have a place to stay at that mortuary. The work was going to be simple, cleaning the floors, helping with washing the dead bodies, keeping everything tidy. And that was when I agreed. I was taken for the interview. I met the man, a black South African man. He was the owner of that funeral parlor. He told me that he liked me, and if I was going to be such a hard worker, he was going to assist me so that I can get proper documentation. But this man, he was just giving me high hopes for nothing. That was when I started to get strange requests from my boss. There were nights when I would be given strange instructions like lighting candles around the bodies. Even though the electricity would be on, I just needed to light the candles close to the body, maybe that was supposed to be released the next day. Then one night, that was when he came to me with a different kind of an offer. He told me that he had a special job for me and this could help me out since I was someone who did not have any papers at all. He was willing to pay me more if I was willing to work with him. He said that if I did this for him, he would give me a Toyota Hilux, one that he had on his fleet, and on top of that he was going to give me 30,000 rands. He made it sound so simple, like it was just another part of the job. He said, what do you have to lose? Like, you can be going to buy bread, then you meet with the police, then they ask for your papers, and then you get arrested. Just do this job for me and you will be on your way. He said that this ritual that he wanted me to assist him with, it was a ritual that was going to make people to choose his funeral parlor because customers were not coming as much as they were. And you know that funeral homes, the more that people die, the more that they make money. They are in the business of death. So he told me that it was not something that any man should do. He wanted me to sleep with the bodies, those lifeless bodies of the women that would have been brought to his parlor, and after that he said that this ritual, it was going to help him so that his business can grow, and he promised me that no one would ever find out besides who would ever care about someone who did not have proper papers in another foreign country. Even though I did not want to say yes and I should have said no, but when he explained to me that me being in his country without papers, it was just like a risk in its own, so it was up to me. I then thought about my family. I thought about this car, told myself that when I return back home, I will start to transport people that will be coming to Beitbridge, making money without risking my life any further. The first time that I did it, my whole body was shaking with fear. I could not even look at the dead body that was lying on that table. It felt like something inside of me broke down that night, like a part of my soul had died when I penetrated that dead woman. But I told myself that it was just a job, just something that I needed to do so as to survive. And I kept on doing this and this and this. He told me that the car that he was going to give me, they were just processing the papers, and once the papers had been processed, then he was going to give it to me as well as the money. Brother Nashi, I kept on doing this over and over again until I started to enjoy. Yes, it is not normal for a man to enjoy making love to a dead woman, but at that point, I was now enjoying everything that I was doing. By March 2010, I had had enough. I told him that I wanted my money, and I wanted my money like now, because I could not keep on doing it. I demanded that he gives me the money as he had promised me, the car and the money. But instead of paying me, he betrayed me. One day, he was the one who called the police, because later on, after I had been arrested, one of the policemen said that your boss is the one who informed us that there is a man that he hired, and this man does not have any documentation. He is just found out. He told them that I was an illegal immigrant, that I was doing things that I should not be doing. They arrested me, and I was dragged up almost like I was a dog. I ended up at Lindela, the detention center for undocumented immigrants. It was a place where I saw that now my hope was dying, and then I stayed there. I spent 2 years in that place before being brought before the court. 2 years surrounded by the broken dreams of other men who were there with me. You mentioned them from Ethiopia, Nigeria, from my country, Mozambique. We were stuck there. I was there for 2 years, and that was when I was told that I was about to get deported. And then I got deported, and I returned back to Zim. I thought that it was a chapter in my life that had been closed up. I thought that at least now I will be free, because I was tired. So I returned back to Masvingo, but I started to notice that each and every time when I would urinate, I would feel so much pain, like really pain, so much that I will scream in pain, because it will be a burning sensation, a pain that one cannot even understand or explain. That was when I saw that the skin on my manhood, it started peeling off each and every month. So I then went to the clinic, and I told the nurses that this was what was happening to me. I thought that maybe it was an STI, because when I returned back, I saw that it was far much better for me to have a girlfriend, and I started sleeping with this other woman. So I thought that maybe she had given me an STI, since she was the only woman that I was sleeping with. The pain that I used to feel at that time, it was just too much. Now I am used to this kind of a pain. I went to the clinic, and I told them that each and every month, when I open my foreskin before I was circumcised, I'll see that there will be skin that would have peeled off and mixed with some blood, like really painful. They also thought that maybe it was some kind of an infection. They gave me some antibiotics the first time. The second time around, they said that I should see a doctor. I saw a doctor, and you know that in our country, things are really tight. So for you to get proper medication, you need to have like real money. So my samples, they were supposed to be taken to a laboratory. It was just too much. I could not afford. So I stopped going to the doctors because I did not have any money anymore. So that is what has been happening to me since that year until now. Each and every year, like the skin on my manhood, it peels off. Before I had been circumcised, like inside the foreskin, that is where the skin used to peel off, and I would even see some veins. It would be very terrible and painful. One of the nurses, when I told her that I did not have enough money for the lab results, she then said, how about you try to get circumcised? Maybe it is going to help you, because she was thinking that maybe this is some kind of rare fungal infection that causes all of this since I was not circumcised. She then suggested that I try to get circumcised. So I then got circumcised through these other donors who help men that want to get circumcised. After that, I thought that the problem was going to go away since my manhood will always be dry, then there won't be fungal infection. But that did not even help. It is still going on. The pain is just too much each and every month. I know that one day I wake up and I see that the skin on my manhood, it would have peeled off. Now what happens is that around the head of my manhood, that is where the skin peels off, and it is so painful. I can't even have a partner, because once the skin peels off, I go for at least a week feeling that pain. I have now become an alcoholic because I try to drink that pain away, knowing that I once slept with dead bodies when I was in South Africa, all for nothing. If I had gotten some money, at least I would say that I got something out of it, but I got nothing. I was just used and dumped like I was not a human being. If there are people that want to assist me, please help me so that I can get proper medical care. I just want to know what kind of an infection causes all of this. I once spoke with one healer. I explained to him that this is what I did when I was in South Africa, to sleep with dead women, helping that man for his rituals so that his business can go big. He only told me that there is a traditional ceremony that is supposed to be done on me so that this can stop. This man also requested a lot of money, in which I don't have that money. If there is any traditional healer, a person who can assist me for free, and I will pay afterwards when I have gotten a job. To think that I was once a science teacher, it really breaks my heart. Dear listeners, right there was a translation of a message that I received. It was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.